Aloha. This video, I wanted to jump off the last video and get into a deeper discussion of how the mechanisms are used against us. What we use to drive our consciousness into a deeper part of itself is used against us to enslave ourselves. One of the obvious proofs, obviously, like I've been talking about in the last videos, the overusage of the word love, the commercializing of the word love, and the commercializing of revolutionary issues like the issues of Black Lives Matter, that whole thing, where that came from, like where that consciousness, that psychology came from, has nothing to do, like where that psychology came from that's at the core of Black Lives Matter, like why Black lives have to matter, is not being addressed by the commercialized version of Black Lives Matter on purpose. What I'm saying is that all these other movements and the very usage of language is how we are manipulated into mind controlling ourselves. Pride is really the mechanism within the LGBT movement that is within everything that manipulates people on a mass scale. So the LGBTQ community just uses the term pride because it's beneficial for the system to stomp out words that empower people, stomp out energies that empower people. So love can empower people, love of your people, love of your culture, love of yourself, like love of protecting nature. Like all this can be a love that is very threatening to the system that parasites off of nature and everything that you could be proud of protecting. So pride in itself needed to be kind of like the rainbow flag. And then in indigenous cultures, you have the rainbow children, which has nothing to do with the LGBTQ community. The rainbow children has to do with a consciousness of beings. It's a whole prophecy thing, but you can see how people won't even look into that. And some people who are even in those cultures will not even look into something like that, that presupposes this pride, commercialism bullshit. They won't even look into their own prophecies because of the stigma attached to the rainbow flag that has been commercialized. Same thing with like even using the word pride, like even saying the word pride. Like, look, type in the word pride in Google and this is what you see. So the word pride is, I'm not saying the word pride is an amazingly good word, but I'm saying it's not a horrible word. It's really a word that, like, when you take all of the egotistical bullshit out of it, it's a truly powerful fire type of word. When you take the bullshit, the micro out of it, you can really tune in. There's a sharpness to it at its core. There is a impeccability in its conviction, this word pride. It means something outside of what it's been commercialized to mean. How has pride been used to devolve the consciousness of the masses? So obviously you had the LGBTQ pride parade and that whole pride commercializing. So they commercialized pride. So you can't be proud of, you can't really like be openly proud of your culture because the term pride has been commercialized by this LGBTQ industry corporation. So that's one way it works, is like I said with the rainbow flag. Another way it works is the pride that you have, like the pride that baby boomers have, or the pride that Americans have, like the New World Americans have. There's a pride in the Western world. There's a pride in technology. There's a pride in the monkey-minded evolution of the New World consciousness. There's a pride in that that exists in the generations of people. And then there's a pride in the generation. So you have a pride just in what the generations have so-called accomplished over the years. So you have a pride in the accomplishments, and then you have a pride in the generation itself. So the individual accomplishments are one thing to be proud of that sets the fire to the overall generational accomplishments. And then the generational accomplishments are attached to the national accomplishments, and then the international accomplishments, which is the New World Order in their world, the order of enslaving the masses. That's an accomplishment for the system. And the only way that could be done is if the people give the system its approval to do that. And the only way that people are going to be able to get in a space of approving their own enslavement is if they are proud of their own enslavement. So here is your American dream. People are proud of the Western world. Here is your technology. People are proud of looking into the technologies of the slave masters instead of the technology of their ancestors, which is the technology of nature. So there's a natural technology that our ancestors were tapped into, and then there's the synthetic technology that is being worshipped today. The technology in the Western world is it's the idol to be worshipped. It's the idol to attain and be proud of. So technology is just a representation. It's a representation of today. It's a representation of success. It's a representation of wealth. So this is why you have to have everybody connected to technology, because everybody is subconsciously, but not consciously, wealthy. They are wealthy in a sense that they have what everybody else has, but the capabilities and the usage of that technology is not really there. They don't have the education, they don't have the resources, but they have the illusion of being connected. This is why celebrities exist. They have the illusions of being connected to somebody that is wealthy. So you have a pride. This is why people have a pride of people like Beyonce. Yeah, so people's pride is so deeply rooted into their illusions that their pride can be tested by you just sharing your opinion on somebody that they are proud of. So they are proud of other people who are they themselves proud of enslaving themselves in a self-enslavement program. So this is how you have dreams within dreams within dreams, because you have to have pride within pride within pride. So the pride is an energy. Pride is an energetic driving force that is rooted to the core of whatever you're proud of. So this is why I said, in itself, pride is an industry in itself. So what has the system told you to be proud of? The system is obviously pushing this LGBTQ pride because they need the idea of change, betterment, evolution of thought, of consciousness. They need the idea of unity, connection. They need the idea of balance, masculine and feminine. They need the idea of softness in a patriarchal commercial world that is has made its money off of being hard charging. So this is why I said this is the polar shift of consciousness that the system is hoping to make over time, because people are no longer falling for the old ways of hard pride. They need a soft pride now. So the soft pride will be used to shift from fourth gear into the fifth gear, which is shifting from national pride to international pride. And how they're going to do that is by having an international group of representatives that are speaking the same political language and using the same political flags and have the same political agendas that are still dealing with the political issues that allow the system to remain in power. So the system of pride within systems of the self-enslavement program is a benefit for the self-enslavement program. So they will market and promote systems which promote their power. So you have a pride in the generations, you have a pride in the technology, you have a pride in the realm itself. So how you have a pride in the realm itself is a pride in the reproductive process. So you have the pride of a man and a woman creating a baby. That pride, see how cheap that was? A man and a woman creates a baby. A man and a woman has sex and makes a baby. That's basically what it is. But what happens when that event happens or has carried through is that the titles of the individuals, a man and a woman, now changes from father and mother simply after the event of reproducing a child. So now they have a title that they have to be proud of because society is proud of that relationship. This is self-inflicted pride that the individuals have to wear as a title because society has deemed that a requirement once this event takes place. So the pride actually outweighs the responsibility. The label outweighs the responsibility when the morals and values of the system are non-existent. When the morals and values of the system are more based upon the labels and less based upon the responsibility and the action, that's when you have a whole space of chaos and a perfect space of self-enslavement, because you have people who have this extreme connection to an idea we call pride, connected to a label they call mother and father, but there's nothing really of any substance to give them back what they are told they should be experiencing. Nothing in society gives the individual what the society has told them they should be after they've achieved a certain thing. So this happens when you have the whole, from the macro all the way down. There is no true achievement in the new world because everything in the new world was stolen. Every single thing that the new world is proud of was stolen. So every single individual who is proud of what they have in a stolen world is broken to some degree. And the only thing that can hide those broken cracks is the crack filler. So it's the on the road of consciousness, you have words like awakening and pride and all of the other labels that are used to fill in the cracks of the entire experience. So you have micro crack filler materials to fill the cracks of the macro world. And since you exist as both the micro and the macro, the responsibility doesn't lay only in the micro world, although the new age will tell you that your only responsibility is the micro world, the self, only be on yourself, all this stuff. Well, part of yourself is the other than the self. The new age doesn't want to tell you this, though. Not in a sense of they are your responsibility, but in a sense of reflection. See, reflection has a sense of responsibility there. And the new age likes to push this aside or use their prescription drugs to avoid this conversation, because there's too much responsibility in a world that is truly connected. But if you are synthetically connected in a word soup of new age belief systems, then anything is possible. You can have an enlightened being over here while other people are unenlightened over there. Completely different world from how I say it, is that you cannot truly awaken until others are in a space of awakening. There is no individual awakening, period. That is an illusion that people have created in a space that is dense, empty, dark, lacking of what they call of a light that they can translate. People who see the world through those eyes cannot see the light that you can translate. They can't experience the same kind of light. It's like a music. It's a music. A better word to explain that is a music. They can't appreciate the rhythms. They can't appreciate the music. So you have had a whole system, a whole institution, a worldwide institution of rhythmless consciousness that the masses of people around the world have been conditioned to be proud of. Generations upon generations, these individuals have been conditioned to be proud of their own enslavement. So the pride comes from the labels themselves, the words themselves. So like I said, to close this out, you have the commercial pride, obvious, to have a starting point. There's a pinnacle. This is the top of the pyramid, is the international version of pride that has been co-opted by the LGBTQ community because it's beneficial for a unification factor on a worldwide scale. Then you have the generational pride that comes from like people, old schoolers who are proud of the American dream. They're proud, and if you don't achieve the American dream, then you're not successful. So you have the commercial pride that's based upon the American dream, or the corporate version of success in the Western reality, or people think that's the only reality to achieve success in. And then you have the micro pride, which is the transferring of energies of two individuals, a man and a woman, just a regular ass man and a regular ass woman, make a baby that makes them not regular anymore. They now have a title. They have a status in society. This is now a father. This is now a mother. This is a status in society. But there were no pre-qualifications for that status. Once they hold that status, they have to wear that title, even though they have been ill-equipped for their entire lives, probably more than 2, 3, 4, 5 generations beyond. So you have generations upon generations of people who are proud of something that will last for their entire lives. Proud of something that they have been told to be proud of because that is what they achieved, what they accomplished. Motherhood, fatherhood. They have been told by the society who needs that society needs that pride to exist. They've been told by society that reproduction is the ultimate accomplishment in this realm. Is that true? Absolutely not. I don't even need to go into that. Reasons why. You can accidentally become a mother and a father on accident. Obviously not just like walking down the street and accidentally, no. I'm talking about without having any conscious engagement in that experience, you have now attained a title in society the same way a knight has been knighted in society. A duke, a princess, a prince, a queen, a king, a mother, a father. The pride that the individuals have in their reproductive success story is what sets the tone for the Queen of England to be proud of colonizing the entire world and people allowing that to be. Not having any definitions of a mother and a father that are of a natural connection is what allows the colonizing of the entire world to present to the entire world a queen mother. No coincidence that the people in the Pride Parade refer to themselves as queens. It's the highest status in society as of now to be a queen. Queen Bey, Beyonce, Queen Bee, drag queen, the Queen of England, and getting ready to be your future queen of the new world. That's the last puzzle piece. And if it's not a queen, it's a man that is either like a queen or secretly a queen. There's a lot of stories going around with Barack Obama and Michelle, or as he calls her, Michael. So there's all these stories that are existing that hold up this space of sexuality having a status in society, or sexuality contributing to status in society. So in order to deal with this situation, when people don't really know what to do, and they're not really aware of the depths of what's going on, when you have a straight or when you have a gay pride parade, people's response to who don't really know what the fuck is going on, their response is to have a straight pride parade. And like I was saying in previous videos, this is the reactionary consciousness that has nothing to do with actually dealing with the issues. In fact, those reactionary issues are more than likely going to play right into the hand of the system. What do you think is going to happen after all this gay pride leader stuff that's out there right now? You're going to have a wave of people here in the near future who are going to be on this tip of, we are the representations of what straight men are. We are the representations of what straight women are. We and what we believe in, our political values are ... and ... which will mirror to some degree, they will mirror the good sides of the pride political values, the gay pride political values, but take it a next step even further to adding in the pride of the nation, the good old American pride that ain't about this LGBTQ shit. Keep that shit over there in your land. Keep that shit over there in your corner. Out here in America town, we are about real good wholehearted American values. And it ain't about sticking no little ding-a-lings and everything. This is what the Republican Party represents next to the Democratic culture pushing. So like on that Pride video, somebody said that I had balls for talking about these subjects. And somebody says, well, you don't really have balls if you're a Republican. Only if you're a Democrat do you have balls to talk about this. So this is what I'm saying. Like, this subject is already a political issue that the mainstream media is cool with. They're cool with talking about this. Only truther circles and conscious circles are uncomfortable about talking about this stuff because they haven't really done that work on what's really going on there. And Republicans are comfortable about talking about it because they're completely oblivious about what's going on a deeper level, and they just see something to be attacked. So that's why this is pushed in society, because you can. This is what happens. By putting Republicans out there against the LGBTQ agenda, what you're doing is you're creating a space of anybody who has any discernment about what's going on and intelligence about what's going on a massive scale. You will see the benefits. Like, you will see, like, oh, how this is how this group is right, and this is how this group is right. And they need that on both sides of the story, so that when the deciding factor, which is the authoritative word of the system itself, comes in and unifies both of it, they will have something to pull from both party systems. And you need something of a positive note to pull from both party systems in order to get both parties to get on board with the next mind control program. So on the Democratic side, you have the unifying of thought, the no longer allowing just, white people, white men in particular, to run rampant around the world, just colonizing everything and fucking everything up and not having any accountability on anything. That's like the best case scenario approach of the Democratic whatevers. But you see what I'm talking about. It's a few rungs down from that approach, but it's in that same atmosphere. Let's start changing and unifying people around the world because war is bad. That's the Democratic push, where when people say, I guess I lean towards being a Democrat because, I don't know, I'm not a Republican. Well, they're not a Republican because the Republicans represent that old white type of thinking. That's what they have put out there for. But it's not about that. It's about having somebody represent the mother and somebody represent the father. So you have the Democrats representing the mother about unifying everything and healing and peace and climate change and science and all that shit. And then you have the father, which is like, we need to keep control, maintain, how we need to make sure that everything is still American, okay, guys? Everything still has to be American here, and it has to be done the right way. So there has to be something wrong with the Democrats. The same thing, there has to be something wrong with the Republicans in order for what's right with the Republicans to fix what's wrong with the Democrats, and what's right with the Democrats to fix what's wrong with the Republicans. So when you present those two arguments, not only to the nation, but to the world, and the United States is supposed to represent the new world, when you have change on that scale in the nation, you now have a segue to make that kind of change on the international scale. So this is how this is why the LGBTQ community is used, not only to have that unifying factor in there of everything is everything and we should just come together and it's just that simple and just stay under the control of the system. Not only that, but to push the identity of pride out there in an empty world. Nobody has any pride of anything anymore. You're not proud of anything. Nobody's proud of anything. No, even if you achieve the American dream, if you tell people how proud you are about the American dream, you look like a fucking asshole. You're just a, arrogant, pompous piece of shit with nothing but your car and your, $500 sunglasses and your $10,000, whatever people buy, suits or some shit, I don't know. Something stupid like that. But whatever represents the system is where their pride comes from. See, that word is another kind of, even that space, pride, the word pride is a step down from the word responsibility. If you took care of your responsibilities, you wouldn't need to be proud of whatever it is that you're talking about or doing. So pride comes in a space of accomplishment. What has the LGBTQ community accomplished? If it's accomplished anything, it's accomplished a movement that is beneficial to the system itself. Are they proud of that? Or is the system proud of them? Because without pride, you will not have progress. Because without pride, you will not have the people. Without pride, the people will not generate the energy, the intention, the strength to accomplish that which is to be proud of. So you have the pride of the realm itself in reproduction, given to you by the Western ideologies of what you should be proud of. This is why sexual reproduction is in society so much, and this is why the sexual mind controls are so deep in the LGBTQ community, where they have little 9, 10, and 11-year-old little boys running around gay pride parades all half naked, being egged on by 30, 40, 50 old ass men, sexualizing little boys. Is that something to be proud of? The mainstream media will tell you yes. And one of the main reasons why they can be proud of that is because they have stomped out and destroyed all of the other things in society that you could be proud of. You are not allowed to be proud of your people. You are not allowed to be proud of your culture. You are not allowed to be proud of your own accomplishments outside of the accomplishments of the Western world. Pride is only available to those who are proud of their accomplishments within the system. This is why pride is beneficial to the New World agenda. So you have the pride of the generations, which holds up the pride of the nation. And they have a pride of a nation because the nation provided protection and a space for them to make their own kingdom in order for them to be proud of their entire experience. So since they have been mind controlled to think that their only responsibility is to be proud of, to accomplish what they have been told to accomplish, once they achieve that, they are no longer a threat to the system or the society that is beneficial to the system itself. They are no longer a threat to the society of mind control, because their years and years and years of pride and responsibility to what they were told to be proud of has sucked the energy and the drive out of their reality. And now people are left with emptiness. That you take the prime years of the masses of people. See the use of marketing reproduction as a war tactic.